In at number 10, Landon Clifford. 19-year-old YouTube star Landon Clifford was well known for starring on the popular YouTube show called Cam and Fam. Initially, his death was announced after he was said to have been in a coma for 6 days following a brain injury. However, following his unfortunate passing, his wife made a video that told the full story. According to her, Landon had developed an addiction to his prescription medications for ADHD and antidepressants. The combination of these two drugs gave him these extreme highs and lows with his mood. Her recounting of the events that led to her finding her own husband hanging in the garage is absolutely heartbreaking to hear. She was hesitant at first to release all the details on his passing because she was just so processing the information as well. Landon is another reason why talking about mental health can be so important at this time. Landon will be remembered as being the best dad and husband that he could be, and even in his passing he had set up for his organs to be donated to people who are in desperate need all over the country. In number 9, Johan. Kim Jong-kwon, known as Johan in the Korean pop group TST, passed away at the age of 28 with no cause of death being noted in the announcement. Johan debuted in 2015 as a member of the boy band called Nam, but after the band broke up, he joined the TST group for their 4th album in January called Countdown. The TST fans are also referred to as Hannes, and their mourning for the star could be found all over social media. I truly believe K-pop fans are one of the most dedicated fan bases out there. One even tweeted about the purchasing of a star in his name. The user tweeted, "I bought and named a star after our precious Johan. I made sure to find a big bright star that's especially visible in Seoul in June. Not that it can't be seen any other time of the year, I wanted to make sure it was visible in June." His music label also shared a message from his family meant for the fans and what they can do to respect their wishes. The label posted a portion of the family statement and said, "The late Johan's family is currently in deep mourning. The family has pleaded that media articles about Johan's passing, such as those making speculations about the cause of his death, be refrained out of respect." In at number 8, Nicole Thea. These are all going to be pretty heartbreaking, but with YouTuber Nicole Thea, it hits on a whole different level. The London-based social media star was pregnant when she passed on July 11th, thus taking her unborn child at 8 months with her. She had just posted a photo showing off her baby bump with the caption, "Can't wait to meet you, little man, soon to be 3 of us." Charles Murray told the press that Nicole had said that she was struggling to breathe and having pains in her chest. Although the autopsy has still not been confirmed, Nicole's uncle says that the family believes that she passed away due to a massive heart attack, and she was only 24 years old at the time. In at number 7, Justin Earl. 38-year-old Justin Earl was the son of country rock star Steve Earle and was an accomplished musician in his own right. The notice of his passing was posted to his official Facebook page, which said, "It is with tremendous sadness that we inform you of the passing of our son, husband, father, and friend Justin. So many of you have relied on his music and lyrics over the years, and we hope that his music will continue to guide you on your journeys. You will be dearly missed, Justin." According to his Wikipedia page, Justin had also struggled with drugs since the age of 12 and had gone to rehabilitation clinics 9 times, followed by periods of sobriety. The cause of his death was not immediately announced, but the Nashville police said that they were investigating the death as a possible drug overdose. Justin first rose to fame in 2007 with the EP called Yuma, and he won the Emerging Act of the Year at the 2009 Americana Honors and Awards and Song of the Year in 2011 for his song titled Harlem River Blues. In at number 6, Chi Chi DeVayne. Xavier Michael Davenport was better known as the stage name of Chi Chi DeVayne and was an American drag queen and reality TV personality on RuPaul's Drag Race. Xavier appeared on the 8th season of the show as well as the 3rd season of the All-Star Series. Davenport had been diagnosed with scleroderma in 2018 and 2 years later would pass after a bout with pneumonia related to kidney failure. Xavier's family made a public statement as well and said, "It is with tremendous sorrow that my family and I announce the passing of my beloved son, Xavier Michael Davenport, the world-renowned Chi Chi DeVayne. Out of respect for the immediate family, please await additional information and directives regarding the final arrangements, memorials, and the method to remit condolences and expressions of kindness." His final words to his family and fans: "Never give up." In addition to this, the official RuPaul's Drag Race tweeted out saying, "That smile shines so bright, we'll always cherish her joyous energy, love you so much, Chi Chi." In at number 5, Jack Sherman. Jack Sherman was a legendary guitarist who played on the Red Hot Chili Peppers' debut album and traveled with the band for their first tour in 1984. Jack even co-composed material on that album as well as several other songs on the follow-up record. After their original guitarist and founding member Hillel Slovak wanted to come back, Sherman was booted from the band. Even though he greatly contributed to that first album, when the rest of the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012, he was not. Sherman blamed the members for this, saying that it ignored the work that he had put in under arduous conditions. When Jack's passing was announced, the official Red Hot Chili Peppers posted this message to their fans: "We of the RHCP family would like to wish Jack Sherman smooth sailing into the worlds beyond, for he has passed. Jack played on our debut album as well as our first tour of the USA. He was a unique dude and we thank him for all good times, bad and in between. Peace on the Boogie platform." Jack passed away from natural causes at the age of 64 at his home in Savannah, Georgia. In at number 4, Clifford Robinson. Cliff Robinson played 18 seasons with the NBA and was selected in the second round of the 1989 NBA draft. He played his first 8 seasons of his career with the Portland Trail Blazers, followed up by some stints with the Phoenix Suns, Detroit Pistons, Golden State Warriors, and New Jersey Nets. At 6'10", he was the tallest player player to make more than 1,000 3-pointers until he was surpassed by Dirk Nowitzki. In 2017, Robinson suffered from a stroke that paralyzed the left side of his body, but he would soon recover much of his arm and leg movement. Since then, he had been residing in the West Hills area of Portland, Oregon, and in March of 2019, he underwent surgery for cancer treatment and wood passive lymphoma on August 29, 2020 at the age of 53. While with the NBA, Robinson was a big advocate of cannabis and the legalization of it in Oregon and Connecticut. He actually said that the use of cannabis helped him get through his entire career with the NBA. He also said that he would use cannabis to help relieve pain and anxiety and to avoid the undesirable side effects caused by his pharmaceutical drugs. In number 3, John Thompson. John Robert Thompson Jr. was the first African American head coach to win a major collegiate championship when he led the Hoyas to an NCAA Division I national championship over the Houston Cougars in 1984. As a result, John was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame and the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame as well. After he retired from coaching, John went on to become a radio and TV sports commentator. Before he was ever a coach though, Thompson was selected in the 3rd round of the 1964 NBA draft by the Celtics. He would play 2 seasons with the Boston Celtics and end up winning the NBA championship in both seasons. Thompson was also the assistant coach for the gold medal winning team in the 1976 Summer Olympics, and he coached the last collegiate US team at the 1988 Summer Olympics. Big John's family made a statement for the public and said, "For us, his greatest legacy remains as a father, grandfather, uncle, and friend. More than a coach, he was our foundation. More than a legend, he was the voice in our ear every day. We will miss him, but are grounded in the assurance that we carry his faith and determination in us. We will cherish forever his strength, courage, wisdom, and boldness, as well as his unfailing love." John passed on August 31st, 2020 at the age of 78. In number 2, Joe Ruby. Joseph Clemens Ruby was an American animator, television editor, writer, and producer. He was also the founding member of the TV animation production company called Ruby Spears Productions. That team was responsible for co-creating the animated series Scooby-Doo. Joe studied art and began his career in animation at Walt Disney for the in-betweening department. His grandson Benjamin Ruby said that Joe never stopped writing and creating even as he aged, with the Warner Bros. Animation president saying that Ruby's legacy will be that he made Saturday morning special for so many children, including himself. And me too. Scooby-Doo has been a beloved companion on screens for more than 50 years, leaving an enduring legacy that has inspired and entertained people for generations. On August 26, 2020, Joe Ruby passed for natural causes at his home in Westlake Village, California at the age of 87. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, Chadwick Boseman. I'm still even trying to process the loss of Chadwick Boseman. When I first read that initial report, I just couldn't believe that it was real, and I'm sure many of you felt the same thing. The final tweet from the late actor has so far become the most liked tweet ever. In the tweet, the statement reads, "It is with immeasurable grief that we confirm the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016 and battled with it these last 4 years as it progressed to stage 4. A true fighter, Chadwick persevered through it all and brought you many of the films you have come to love so much. From Marshall to Defy Bloods, August Wilson's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and several more, all were filmed during and between countless surgeries and chemotherapy." The family went on to say that it was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther, and that he passed in his home with his wife and family by his side. Chadwick should be upheld as a real-life superhero though as well. Cancer was draining his life away from him, but he kept on pushing, he kept working, and he never once complained about his situation.
Coming in at number 10 today, we have the secret grandchild. On Sunday at Lisa Marie's funeral service, Riley Keough's husband, Ben Smith Peterson, would reveal that the couple had welcomed a secret child last year. The stuntman announced the news while he was reading a letter on behalf of his wife at the memorial service. In the letter, Ben would say, "I hope I can love my daughter the way you love me, the way you love my brothers and my sisters. Thank you for giving me strength, my heart, my empathy, my courage, my sense of humor, my manners, my temper, my wildness, and my tendency. I'm the product of your heart, my sisters are the product of your heart, my brother is the product of your heart." Since the memorial service, a representative has confirmed the birth of Riley and Ben's daughter, and the couple's daughter is the first grandchild of Lisa Marie and the first great-grandchild of Elvis and Priscilla. While everyone was shocked to learn that the Presley family kept a child a secret, Riley's tribute to her mother would bring the whole room to tears as they remembered Lisa for her strength and love. Number 9, we have the childhood message. Before Elvis Presley passed away, in an interview, the king would describe with glee how much of a terror Lisa Marie was. But what many didn't know is that she left behind a hidden graffiti message in a secret drawer. During a live virtual tour with Graceland archivist Angie Marchese, she would point out a secret drawer that was located in the corridor next to the kitchen on the way into the jungle room from the front door. In fact, it's right where fans walk during the regular in-person tour of Graceland. During the interview, Angie would open the drawer, and when it was open, you could see written inside was Lisa Marie's graffiti, which read, "Lisa's home, Graceland," with a smiley face. Also inside the drawer was a 1993 phone book, which seems quite random, but Elvis historian revealed it was owned by the King's Aunt Delta May, who lived at Graceland until that very year. Interestingly, all kinds of items remained in the drawers at Graceland, just as they were left behind by those who were living in the mansion. For example, the plates and glasses are still kept in the kitchen cupboards, and is the china in the drawers in the dining room. Additionally, in a drawer in the music room, quite randomly features a samurai sword that was gifted to Elvis by a Japanese officer. Lisa Marie very much saw Graceland as her family home, and the china she used was kept in the drawers in her Aunt Delta's bedroom, which is connected to the kitchen, and it isn't on the tour. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have her connection with John Travolta. John Travolta and Lisa Marie Presley had known each other for decades, but before Travolta and Presley were friends, Lisa Marie was nothing more than a fan of the rising celebrity. After the passing of Lisa's father Elvis, Priscilla was looking to bring some joy into her daughter's life and used her Hollywood connections to arrange a meeting between the two. However, before rumors started to begin that Travolta and Presley dated, when the two met, Presley was only 11 and Travolta was in his mid-20s. However, there was an apparent connection between Priscilla and Travolta, and it is said their connection apparently led to 3 to 4 secret dates that didn't go any further. However, it was during this time Travolta would speak to Priscilla about the Church of Scientology, as he has been a member since 1975, and extended an invitation to Priscilla to come and see what it was all about. Apparently, Priscilla found it to be very welcoming, and she joined in 1977, and as a result, Lisa Marie had no choice but to join the institution as well. Lisa Marie would then be placed into obedience therapy as a young child, as she was in a bad mental condition after she lost her father, and in her weak moment of great loss, John persuaded her to come in. Number 7, trauma. Before Lisa Marie passed away, she revealed that her last memory of discovering Elvis after he had passed away in the bathroom of his famous Memphis home on August 16th, 1977. Lisa would confess that she didn't like to talk about it. In her confessions, she would say it was 4 a.m. I was supposed to be asleep, but actually he found me. Lisa Marie was in her room with her mother Priscilla when Elvis arrived with them a couple minutes later and kissed her goodnight. This would be the last time she would see her father alive. Later, when she went to see her father, she would be attended by her friend Ginger, and discovering her father had passed away, Lisa Marie would be terrified, and she ran to the phone to call Elvis's ex-girlfriend, Linda Thompson, who was not at Graceland at the time. Lisa Marie would be left feeling traumatized, as she was her daddy's princess and she truly was loved by him. That was a huge trauma for her. Lisa empathetically acted out as a child, and then she would begin to take substances so she could forget the agony of losing her father. Number 6, overwhelming Priscilla. After Lisa Marie started to act out to numb the pain of losing her father, she began to overwhelm her mother Priscilla in the process. Priscilla would get exasperated with her because she was a rebellious kid, and Priscilla knew that she was not a kid who believed in rules and boundaries. Lisa Marie is said to have been a free spirit, as she would do what she wanted whenever she wanted, and this drove Priscilla nuts because she didn't want to see what happened to Elvis happen to her daughter. Priscilla felt like she was locked in a game of Mortal Kombat with her daughter, and the relationship was actually really hostile for the longest time. The two were just not aligned at all. There was no harmony. Their relationship of welfare was described as living in a war zone that would lead to Lisa Marie to do substances to get away from her misery, as she was feeling deep inside her. That's why it's being said that Priscilla is actually taking her daughter's passing really hard, as she still wasn't able to fully repair her relationship with her daughter before she passed away. Number 5, power imbalance. Seems like Lisa Marie and her mother Priscilla Presley could never see eye to eye because there was too much of a power imbalance when it came to the two. It said that Priscilla had all the power. She was the mom after all, and Lisa Marie couldn't run away after her father's passing, as she was only 9 years old. So the only way she felt like she could stand her ground was to fight back, be rude, and disrespectful to her mother. Lisa Marie felt like this was her only option to feel happiness, was to be combative. And the more Lisa Marie started to act out and misbehave, the more and more her mother got worried. Eventually, by the age of 13 years old, Lisa would start experimenting with substances, and the more Lisa started to fight back so she could be released by her mother's control, the more Priscilla would try her own methods of control. Eventually, Priscilla would have no other choice but to join the Church of Scientology, and she would kick Lisa Marie out and force her to attend courses that Lisa Marie did not want to attend. Number 4, obedience therapy. Lisa was only 11 years old when her mother Priscilla joined a cult-like religion which is known as Scientology. During her childhood years, she would be dropped off alone at the Scientology Center for hours of obedience therapy and purification rundowns. This would reportedly consist of hot sauna sessions, exercise, and taking vitamins. Lisa Marie had no choice but to attend the sessions, and it seemed anytime she would act up, she would be dropped off. The instructions from Priscilla to the church were to handle her and do whatever they wanted so her daughter would get back into line. Lisa had no choice, and she was forced into conversion therapy and obedience therapy sessions as the church saw these as courses that were fit to her needs. This is something that should never be forced onto an 11-year-old, and yet Lisa Marie was forced to believe that something was wrong with her and she had to attend these courses. Number 3, Michael Lockwood. While Lisa Marie Presley was embroiled into a ferocious custody battle with her ex-husband, she would accuse him of having hundreds of illegal images of younger people on his computer. While many have stated that Lisa Marie falsely accused him of this crime, it really makes you wonder if these crimes were never true, then why would she divorce her ex-husband, and why would the police always stay quiet about the issue as they never confirmed if he was guilty or not guilty? It just all seems a little fishy. In the court filing at the time of her divorce, Lisa Marie Presley would never detail exactly what she found at the time, but she would say she was very shocked, horrified, and it made her sick to her stomach. However, in the papers it would also be said that the Beverly Hills Police Department found 80 of Lockwood's devices during a raid on her home, and she added that the cops still had them and that they'd never been fully analyzed, and that she had no idea what else would be on those devices, but she was scared that there was more worse images and evidence on those unanalyzed devices. Number 2, 4 divorces. Sometimes it's hard to find love, and it's clear that Lisa Marie struggled with her whole life to truly find the one. In 2016, when news broke that Lisa Marie was ending her union with Michael Lockwood, unfortunately this would be her 4th failed marriage. In 2007, Lisa Marie would explain her marital woes to Marie Claire when she said her first union with Danny Keough failed because she was really young and Danny had resented her because of who she was. She would then add that her marriage became a power struggle because it was hard for a man to be with a woman who is stronger and wealthy, and that's why she ditched Danny for Michael Jackson. However, she would then recall this being the biggest mistake of her life. As her rocky marriage to Nicolas Cage, she would state that marrying him was a wild flurry and a crazy idea that came with being young. As complicated as it all sounds, Presley eventually disunion from Michael Lockwood was arguably the toughest following their 10 years together. The exes were locked in horns in one of the most bitter custody and spousal support fights Hollywood has ever seen. And coming in number 1 today, we have Cruel to Nannies. Shortly after Lisa Marie gave birth to her beautiful twin girls, she acquired the help of nanny Christine White. According to TMZ, they would detail that Christine sued Lisa Marie because she felt like she was being overworked without proper compensation. The suit claimed that Christine was tasked with caring for the babies around the clock, and she even worked 7 days a week and was not granted breaks. By the following year, Christine would drop her case against Lisa Marie, but not before Presley countersued. In the lawsuit, Presley claimed that White was fired after breaking her contract, and that she allegedly took over 165 unauthorized photos and videos of her children, which broke her confidentiality agreement. The case was ultimately dismissed, and although it's unclear if it was ever settled, Presley seemed to have the last word on the matter, as she claimed Christine's original lawsuit was born out of utter greed and revenge because Lisa Marie fired her. Starting off our list today, in the number 10 spot, we have cancer. After Jerry Springer's family shared that the daytime host passed away earlier Thursday morning following a brief illness, People magazine would then publish a report, and in it they would say Springer's passing came from the result of battling cancer, with a family spokesperson and longtime friend Jean Galvin also telling NBC News that Jerry passed away from pancreatic cancer. Jerry's longtime friend and religious leader, Rabbi Sandrod Kobnik of the Valley Temple in Cincinnati, also told People magazine that Jerry's illness was sudden, when he said he hasn't been sick for a long time, he passed away from cancer, and he didn't have cancer for very long. After describing the former Cincinnati mayor's nature, Kopnick also went on to note that Jerry had a kind and generous personality, and he wasn't really best pictured in his show when he said there was so much more to him than the Jerry Springer show. He was very, very smart. He was a remarkable family man, and he was somebody who understood what it means to pay it forward. With Springer being known for hosting 27 seasons of his talk show, he also headlined the reality series Judge Jerry for 3 seasons and even briefly served as a judge on America's Got Talent. He also was the 56th mayor of Cincinnati in the 1970s, before pursuing a career in media. Being a man who never really lost sight of his roots, he understood the great fortune that his family had escaping Germany, and he will be deeply missed by millions of people all over the world. Number 9. Love for hateful groups. It seems like the only people who get more airtime on the Springer show than jilted lovers seem to be the members of certain Malaysia groups. And none of us could really understand why. Maybe it's because Jerry wanted to use his platform to help the members of these so-called audiences feel better about themselves. Or maybe he just had a deep love and understanding for the people he brought on the show. But after the second instance of the show giving the people the attention they were so clearly craving, everyone involved in the incident really should have found themselves giving the boot from the show. These episodes would cause so much drama that an altercation in one episode even broke out after the group members walked on to the stage. It should have been enough for the show's creators to realize that these conversations just weren't okay and they needed to cancel the show. Hateful groups like this don't just appear on talk shows, so the fact that Jerry had extended his privilege to bring them on the show and make them feel welcome really made a lot of people question what his real motives were and why he was so obsessed with interviewing people from Malaysia groups. Hey BTS fans, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what I might just cover next. And seriously, let me tell you, the next videos have some major tea, so you definitely don't want to miss out on them. Number 8. Scandalous life. Back in 1982, Jerry Springer decided to try to take his political career to the next level by running for governor of Ohio. Unfortunately for the star, his campaign was plagued by a major scandal in which he was accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a woman on the streets during his younger years. To his credit, Jerry did own up to the accusations and apologized for the mistake, and he then went on to argue that acknowledging the truth and embracing the matter was a sign of his honesty and maturity, demonstrating that he was still fit to run for office, as this didn't reflect on the leader he could be. As bold as his attempt was at altering the message on this matter, it still wasn't enough to sway the voters of Ohio, and he ultimately lost the race and never made an attempt to run again. Number 7. The game plan. Have you ever wondered why Jerry Springer's guests on his show always managed to get in such dramatic altercations? Well, if so, then you may or may not be surprised to learn that it's more than just a mere coincidence. It seems like right from the show's inception, Springer made a conscious decision to ensure that there was always going to be some kind of explosive battle in every episode to avoid the show becoming just like another talk show. Even if you thought the show's unique platform for crazy spectacles might just be viewed by some as an opportunity to lie for the sake of getting attention, you would be right. Well, at least you would be in one case, when 3 individuals who appeared on the show admitted they have completely fabricated their stories about a continuous love triangle just to get on TV. I guess it's true when they say in Hollywood you really do have to fake it till you make it. Number 6. Banned in the UK. Being a celebrity can come with a heavy price, especially when your show has been known to cross some boundaries. Every year a handful of celebrities will either find themselves being banned from going to certain countries, or they will have their shows making a ban list, which many celebrities just honestly look away and carry on with their days. But this move can really affect your career, especially when angry parents find out that their kids are watching your show. So in the early 2000s, the United Kingdom made the decision to ban the Jerry Springer show from being shown during the daytime on any school holiday. The ban would come after an excessive number of parents complained that they did not want their children exposed to the show's subject matter, which is honestly a fair statement. I don't know if you did this or not, but I used to skip school and pretended I was sick just so I could watch Jerry say "You are not the father" and watch an epic altercation occur on the stage. If my parents knew that I was doing that, they probably wouldn't be so happy. But honestly, the show was wild, but maybe that's why we laughed so hard when it came to it. Number 5. End of the line. To this this day, many people have never noticed that the production of the Jerry Springer Show was actually quietly cancelled in 2018. And if you did notice, then you know no one really said anything to why the show was being cancelled. Now I can only imagine that the show's controversial segments were finally met with cancel culture, as a show like Jerry's could never really enter into the television world today because let's face it, the American Pie days are now over. It also could be because this is when he was diagnosed with cancer and decided he would be leaving the show behind to spend the last moments with his family. Although everyone involved with the show chose not to publicly announce the development or make a big issue out of it in the media, the show would eventually confirm that there would be no new episodes going forward and that they would just be playing reruns and previously unaired stories going forward. And now when we see his show pop up in air, we're really going to remember all the things he brought to American television. And seriously, we're really going to miss Jerry as we already miss him already. Number 4. Daughter. Although Jerry Springer's on-screen life consisted mostly of being entertained by the shenanigans of others, his off-screen life isn't all fun and games. One of the biggest struggles in the host's personal life is that he had found it hard to take care of his daughter Katie, as she has some severe physical disabilities. As for Katie's entire life, she has been both deaf and blind. Despite having a difficult challenge ahead of him, Jerry and his wife have always devoted themselves in every possible way to taking care of their daughter, by allowing her to live her life the fullest. And they never were the ones to allow anything to affect this or allow their daughter's disabilities to hold her back from achieving anything she wanted to achieve. With Katie being Jerry's inspiration, she even once convinced her father to compete on Dancing with the Stars, where he placed 5th, and the two had such a close bond, to the point Jerry kept Katie's disability a secret from the world most of the time because he didn't want people to treat her any differently. She even made Jerry a loving grandfather after she got married and had a child. Number 3. Film industry. Jerry has many careers in his life, from being a mayor to a talk show host, but did you know he even ventured into the film industry at one point in his career? And the colossal flop Ringmaster was not Jerry's only foot into the film industry, as in 1999 Jerry even got the chance to play a fictionalized version of himself in a fictionalized version of his show in the classic comedy film Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me. Naturally, the fictionalized version of The Springer Show was actually pretty close to the real thing, with the movie showing 2 characters getting into one giant altercation on the not Springer Show. It totally ended up being The Springer Show, but I mean, how could you not make a fake Jerry Springer Show and not have it resemble the real thing? Because if you didn't, it would probably confuse a lot of people. But at the same time, this is when we realized that if a movie was able to convince us that we were actually watching the Jerry Springer Show, then maybe, just maybe, the show was all staged. But I'm gonna let you decide that and let me know in the comments below. Number 2. Burden. With Jerry Springer and his family choosing to keep the star's battle with cancer hidden from the public, so his health struggles wouldn't become a burden to many of those who cared so deeply about him, TMZ would soon publish an article where they would claim that Jean Galvin, a rep for the Springer family, told them that Jerry was sick for months and that he was running through a series of tests but only recently found out how serious his pancreatic cancer diagnosis actually was. Galvin also told the media outlet that Jerry has always been fairly a private person, so he and his family thought it was especially important to keep his cancer private as they didn't want people to worry about him or his family. So Jerry and his family instead shifted their entire focus on aiding with his care, which became extremely time consuming, and Jerry knew that his time was limited, and given the severity of his cancer, he made a point to spend as much time as he could with his loved ones as possible. And during this time he found things really depressing because he didn't want to be a burden to his friends and family, with some friends having no idea that Jerry was sick, and then he went on to do small little things and his friends say that this is how he was giving them one final goodbye. Coming at number 1 today, we have the show. Despite how drama filled the show was, it definitely wasn't everyone's favorite cup of tea, and out of everyone in the world you would never probably expect that Jerry Springer was actually one of those people. I know, it's a surprise because he always looked like he was so into everything happening during the filming process that he would be watching certain moments back to back, but I guess that just wasn't the case. Believe it it or not, Jerry Springer one time actually even confessed that he never even watches the show himself. While the confession isn't really known by many, he once really did come out to say he's fully aware of how silly and ridiculous his show's subject matter was, and at the end of the day, he only considers his job to be nothing more than a job. But hey, he made a pretty big paycheck doing so can we really blame him for wanting to do ridiculous things to bring in more views? With Jerry leaving the world so unexpectedly, many viewers, fans, family, and friends have flooded to different social media outlets to share their favorite stories of Jerry and how he helped them get through some rough times in their lives. With Jerry filling our hearts with so much love and laughter for decades, it's really sad to hear that he's gone, and I seriously don't want to live in a world without him. Our thoughts and prayers are definitely with Jerry's family and friends, and we're all here for you if you need anything.
Starting off our list number 10 is Heath Ledger. In 2008, the world suddenly had to mourn the loss of the talented young actor who passed away tragically at the age of 28. News articles broke saying that he was found by his masseuse and housekeeper on the floor of his rented apartment in Soho, New York. It was said that emergency crews arrived not long after his body was first found, and they tried to revive him but were unsuccessful. The media started speculating on the cause of his passing, with claims that it may have been an overdose. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that the New York City Medical Examiner's Office released the results of toxicology tests that were performed on his body. The report stated that he passed of an accidental abuse of prescription medications. His family ended up taking his body back to their native Australia, and he was buried next to his grandparents in his hometown, Perth. Taking over the number 9 spot is Mac Miller. It was back in 2018 when the world first heard the horrible news that the rapper had passed away at 26 years old. His passing was ruled as an accidental substance overdose, but there was still a lot of speculation surrounding the situation. A toxicology report released a statement that said he passed due to an accidental overdose of 2 different substances and alcohol. In 2019, 3 men were charged in connection to his passing. One man for allegedly selling counterfeit OxyContin pills that were laced with a stronger substance. Another man for allegedly sourcing the pills that were sold to him, and the details of the third man's relation to the case has not been revealed. It wasn't until later this year that a trial date was officially set for November 16, 2021. The defendants are fighting that they allegedly continued to sell the narcotics after his passing with full knowledge of the risk of their products. Coming into number 8 is Brittany Murphy. She had a huge breakthrough in her career with her role in Clueless, and then continued to win over the hearts in other movies like Uptown Girls, 8 Mile, and Girl Interrupted. Fans were both shocked and saddened to hear the news back in 2009 that the bubbly actress was found deceased in her Los Angeles home. It was at 8 a.m. on December 20th, 2009 that the LA Fire Department responded to a medical request after it was reported that she apparently collapsed in her bathroom. Reports say that firefighters tried to resuscitate her on the scene and that she had to be transported to the hospital when they were unable to do so. Once she was at the hospital, she officially passed away at 10:04 a.m. after going into cardiac arrest at just 32 years old. A few months later, rumors began to spread saying that she had overdosed after the coroner released a report saying that she had been taking a variety of over-the-counter and prescription medications. However, all the substances were legal and her passing was ruled to be an accident. Sliding into number 7 is Cameron Boyce. He first became a child star when playing Luke Ross on the Disney Channel TV series Jessie. From there, he went on to star in movies like Grown Ups and Descendants. Fans were devastated back in 2019 when his family released a statement online saying that the 20-year-old had passed away in his home in Los Angeles due to a seizure, which was the result of an ongoing medical condition. They revealed he had recently been diagnosed with epilepsy and said that he was being treated for it. The tragic news came on July 19th, and his Descendants movie was set to premiere on July 22nd. Disney decided to cancel the red carpet premiere event and honor him in a different way. With permission from his family, Disney Channel announced that they will dedicate the telecast of Descendants 3 in his memory. They also made a donation in his name to the Thirst Project, which is a non-profit that Cameron was heavily involved in that provides communities with safe drinking water. Up next, number 6, we have Selena. Just a few months ago, Netflix released the second part of the biographical series explaining her life and her tragic passing. The series is called Selena, the Series, and focuses on her legacy, music, and controversy surrounding her life being taken. She was just 23 years old when it was revealed that she had been fatally struck by a bullet in a motel room in Texas back in 1995. There was a big scandal at the time, which led to a woman named Yolanda Saldivar pulling the trigger on Selena. Yolanda was the president of Selena's fan club and manager of her Selena's Inc. boutiques in Texas, and was caught embezzling embezzling money from Selena's empire. Reports say Yolanda lured Selena to the motel by promising to finally turn over relevant financial documents. But things got heated and an argument broke out, and when Selena saw that she had a weapon in her purse, she tried to flee from the room. It was then that Yolanda pulled the trigger and struck her in the back. The Netflix series apparently reveals footage from this night. Halfway through our list, at number 5 is Corey Monteith. The young actor was at the height of his career, taking on the lead role in the successful TV series Glee. He was also known for being Lea Michele's boyfriend, who met each other on the set of Glee in 2008 and became love interests on the show and in real life. They were actually together when he sadly passed away on July 13th, 2013 at just 31 years old. Reports released details saying he was found in his room at the Fairmont Hotel in Vancouver. He was scheduled to check out that day, but when he didn't, hotel staff entered his room and discovered his body. His autopsy was later released and it stated that he passed away from a mix of illegal substances and alcohol, but that it appeared to be accidental. After his passing, the production team postponed Glee's 5th season and continued it just months later. On October 10th, 2013, the show aired an episode as a tribute to Corey, which focused on the passing of his character in the show. That way they could continue to talk about his memory in future episodes and seasons. At number 4, we have River Phoenix, the older brother of the successful actor Joaquin Phoenix. River's acting career started when he was just 10 years old when he began working in television commercials. His acting career included 24 films and television appearances, which led to the teen idol status, and he rose to fame. He wasn't just into acting though, he was also known for his singing and guitar skills. In 1988, he got nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor in Supporting Role for his role in Running on Empty. The following year, he got a role as young Indiana Jones in Steven Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. His career was at its peak as he continued to book one role after another. Unfortunately, in October 1993, River collapsed outside of an LA nightclub in front of his brothers, Rain and Joaquin. They rushed him to the hospital where doctors announced that he had officially passed away at just 23 years old. The New York Times shared the report that the coroner found a fatal amount of illegal substances in his system. In the 3rd spot is Aaliyah. She was known for being a triple threat, being successful at singing, acting, and modeling. People were shocked to hear the news that she had passed away in a tragic airplane accident on August 25th, 2001. She was just 22 years old at the time and had been in the Bahamas filming a music video for the single Rock the Boat. She was on the plane with 7 other passengers and the pilot, all of whom passed away in this accident. They all boarded a small plane that was set to return back to Florida, but the aircraft was said to be smaller than the original aircraft that was meant to fly them. Reports say one pilot was warning them there was too much weight for a safe flight since they brought a bunch of filming equipment with them as well. It was later revealed it was actually 700 pounds overweight and the pilot was actually not qualified to fly that aircraft. The aircraft took off and only 200 meters away from the runway. After just a few seconds, it crashed. Her autopsy later revealed that she passed away from severe burns and a fatal blow to the head. Next up at number 2 is Avicii. The DJ was an award-winning musician at the height of his career when he passed away at the age of 28 years old. The horrific news was announced on April 20th, 2018 and revealed that he had taken his own life. The official cause was reported to be blood loss from self-inflicted wounds. Although he had reached insane amounts of fame, success, and wealth, behind the scenes he was struggling with anxiety, depression, and an alcohol addiction. After the news broke, his family confirmed the news that he had in fact taken his own life and shared that he was battling his addiction for years, which is why he quit touring in 2016. In the documentary Avicii: True Stories, it showed that his addiction had put him in the hospital while he was in Australia on tour. In the documentary, Avicii spoke about it and said he was given medication for pancreatitis and started taking 20 pills a day and got addicted to them. Reports say that he was actually working on new music at the time of his passing. Last but not least, at number 1, we have Amy Winehouse. It was in July of 2011 that the news broke that the singer had passed away at 27 years old. She was known for her unique voice and the soul and jazz in her music, which stood out against the usual pop music that we hear all the time. She had been very candid about her struggle with substance abuse and alcohol addiction, releasing the hit song Rehab in 2006, which has lived on as one of the most iconic songs to this day. But her addiction is what eventually led to her passing. It was said that at the time she was sober from substances, but that she turned to alcohol more instead because of it. Her body was found in the afternoon that day in her London home. Reports say that she was found by paramedics fully clothed with a laptop on her bed and empty bottles of vodka on the floor. The coroner revealed that she had a fatal amount of alcohol in her blood, that it shut down her respiratory system, and her passing was deemed to be alcohol poisoning. Dr. Shirley Radcliffe said that she voluntarily consumed the alcohol, which was a deliberate act that just took an unexpected turn.
At number 10, Jay Pickett. Soap opera actor Jay Pickett, known for his time on General Hospital, passed away on July 30th of this year at the age of 60. Jay was a soap opera legend, having been part of the cast of a number of shows like Days of Our Lives, where he played Dr. Chip Latkin, Port Charles, and obviously General Hospital, where he portrayed the character Detective David Harper. The most recent project Jay was working on was a film called Treasure Valley, but sadly the actor passed away during the project's filming. Jay's passing came suddenly and tragically, as a producer for Jay's upcoming film released a statement following the actor's death that said, quote, "Many of you already heard about the tragedy that happened 2 days ago. Jay Pickett, our leading man, writer, producer, and creator of this movie, passed away suddenly while we were on location preparing to film a scene," end quote. There was no official cause of death released at the time, but it is believed that the actor passed away due to a sudden heart attack. In the producer's statement, they elaborated on how hard they tried to keep Jay with us, saying, quote, "Everyone present tried as hard as they could to keep him alive. Our hearts are broken and we grieve for his family who are so devastated by the shocking tragedy." Jay's passing has been felt heavily by fans of his work, so he surely will not be forgotten. At number 9, Robert Downey Sr. Robert Downey Sr., father of Marvel actor Robert Downey Jr., passed away peacefully in his sleep on July 7, 2021 after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. Robert Downey Sr. was known as a pioneer of the underground film scene in New York City in the 1960s. He got his first big break with the film Putney Swope, and this put him on the map, set him up for success, and from then on he became a legend in the film industry, both as an actor and director. His success later continued into the 70s and 80s as he worked on projects like The Twilight Zone, Matlock, To Live and Die in LA, Boogie Nights, and Magnolia. But other than growing his own success, he also aided in the growth and success of others, most notably his son, who began acting alongside him in the early days of his own career. Robert Downey Jr. released a statement following his father's passing, informing the world of the tragedy the Downey family was facing on his Instagram, where he said, quote, "Last night Dad passed away peacefully in his sleep after years of enduring the ravages of Parkinson's. He was a true maverick, filmmaker, and remained remarkably optimistic throughout. According to my stepmom's calculations, they were happily married for just over 2,000 years. Rosemary Rogers Downey, you are a saint and our thoughts and prayers are with you," end quote. Now before I carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to leave a comment down below sending a positive message for the families on this list. Losing a loved one is never easy, so let's send them some positive energy their way. At number 8, Sonny Chiba. Actor and martial artist Sonny Chiba recently passed away on August 19th of this year at the age of 82. Sonny was known as one of the first Japanese actors to gain international notoriety for his martial arts skills. Before he became famous in American cinema, Sonny first got his big break in Japan in the 1960s, portraying samurai, police detectives, and quote, anti-heroes trying to survive in a violent world, all while doing his own stunts. It wasn't until the film Street Fighter hit American cinemas that Sonny's career in the US started to take off. He attracted the attention of director Quentin Tarantino, and the actor was later cast in the film Kill Bill. From then, Sonny went on to star in films like Aces and even made an appearance in the film Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Sonny brought popularity to martial arts style films, and he will certainly be remembered for that, along with all of his talent and skill. At number 7, Kevin Clark. If you are a fan of the 2003 movie School of Rock, then you are probably among those who are devastated to hear about the sudden passing of one of the film's stars, Kevin Clark. Kevin, who played the character Freddie Jones, aka Spazzy McGee, passed away on May 26th of this year at the age of only 32 years old after being involved in a tragic accident. According to news reports, Kevin had been riding his bike in a Chicago neighborhood in the early hours of the morning when he was struck by a vehicle. The actor was later rushed to hospital but sadly didn't make it. Kevin's death hit his family very hard because it was so sudden and so unexpected, and because he reportedly finally got into a good place in his life. When making a statement about Kevin's passing, the actor's mother told sources, quote, "He told his bandmates just yesterday, you know, this is finally the life I want to live, and we're going to make it. You're my musical family, my family, and we're all going to make it," end quote. Kevin had just started a new band and they performed for the first time on the weekend before he passed. Before this band, he was known for forming other musical groups and writing songs and teaching kids about music. His love for music and his drumming skills are actually what led him to getting the role in School of Rock, even though he had no prior acting experience. Kevin was an incredibly talented man who is certainly gone too soon. At number 6, Sean Connery. Sir Sean Connery was best known for his incredible talent, especially for playing the unforgettable and iconic James Bond. He was the first actor to bring the iconic character to life and starred in a total of 7 Bond films. His successful career spanned over 70 years, and he even earned an Academy Award in 1988 for his role in The Untouchables. Sadly, the actor passed away on October 31st, 2020 in his sleep while in his home in the Bahamas. The Scottish actor was surrounded by his family at the time of his passing. His talent and refinement as an actor defined an era and a style in the film industry, and the unforgettable charm charm and charisma that he portrayed on screen is something that defined his career in Hollywood. Sean was an inspiration to so many performers, forging a path for so many other talented people to make their way to Hollywood to try and achieve the same infamy as Connery. At number 5, Cicely Tyson. After having a career that spanned over 70 years, renowned actress and black icon Cicely Tyson passed away on January 28, 2021 at the age of 96. Cicely was best known for her portrayal of strong black women in TV and film. The actress became a beloved Hollywood icon through her work as an actress, model, and author, and at the beginning of 2021, Cicely published a memoir titled Just As I Am, where she shared the story of her life, how she became who she was, and how she was a pioneering force in shaping history. Cicely first started her public career as a model, later transitioning into the performing arts, making her way to Broadway, where she acted alongside other talented people like James Earl Jones and Louis Gossett. In the 1960s, Cicely launched herself into a hugely successful TV and movie career, where she made a point of prioritizing roles that, quote, showed the full lived experiences of black Americans. Tyson later continued her career into the 70s, where she starred in the hugely successful series Roots, and later starred in more modern shows like How to Get Away with Murder. Other than her film and TV awards and nominations, Cicely also became a Kennedy Center honoree and was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama in 2016. Cicely leaves behind an incredible legacy, making her a good role model for a lot of young black kids everywhere. At number 4, Nick Cordero. Nick Cordero was a talented actor who found a lot of success in all sorts of creative avenues. Nick made waves in TV and movies as he played characters in productions like Blue Bloods, Law & Order, and Momtown, and on Broadway where he appeared in shows like Rock of Ages and Waitress. Sadly, Nick passed away in 2020 at the age of only 41 after a long and difficult battle with COVID. Nick's wife Amanda Kloots shared his grueling COVID journey with their followers and kept them updated on his health until the end. There were a lot of complications and sadly he lost his battle, but Amanda now uses her husband's tragic story to advocate for COVID safety and to warn others about the consequences that this pandemic can bring. Nick leaves behind his wife Amanda and their young son Elvis. The actor was taken far too soon as he had so much more creative potential and he will be terribly missed. At number 3, Samuel E. Wright. If you're a fan of Disney animation, then you no doubt know the voice of Samuel E. Wright, best known for playing Sebastian the Crab in the Disney animated film The Little Mermaid. Though this role is what brought him the most fame, Samuel wasn't just known for his Disney role, as some may know him from playing Dizzy Gillespie in Clint Eastwood's Bird, as well as his role in a series of Fruit of the Loom commercials. Samuel began his career on Broadway, making his debut in Jesus Christ Superstar in 1971, and later going on to play Mufasa in The Lion King on Broadway in 1997. As I mentioned, his best known role is for playing Sebastian in The Little Mermaid, and this role is what he's most remembered for. He performed the songs Under the Sea, which won an Oscar for Best Original Song, and Kiss the Girl in the film. Samuel would later go on to talk about his dream to be very successful in Hollywood, where he said, quote, maybe not every actor would say this, but if I didn't want to be immortal, I wouldn't be acting. I do want to make my little mark on the world. An actor's worst nightmare is to hear 10 years from now, Sam Wright, who was Sam Wright? If you have that kind of attitude, you tend to take each role and make it the best role you've ever done. End quote. Samuel passed away on May 24, 2021 at the age of 74 after a 3-year battle with prostate cancer. At number 2, Helen McCrory. Harry Potter fans were devastated to hear about the passing of actress Helen McCrory, who fans recognize as the talented woman who played Narcissa Malfoy in the Harry Potter franchise. Helen sadly passed away on April 16, 2021 at the age of 52 after a difficult battle with cancer. Her acting career first began when she started performing at London's West End before jumping into the film and television industry, where she would go on to star in productions like Harry Potter, of course, as well as Peaky Blinders, The Queen, Interview with the Vampire, and Casanova. Upon her passing, Helen's husband released an emotional statement which read, quote, I'm heartbroken to announce that after a heroic battle with cancer, the beautiful and mighty woman that is Helen McCrory has died peacefully at home, surrounded by a wave of love from friends and family. She died as she lived, fearlessly. God, we love her and know how lucky we are to have had her in our lives. She blazed so brightly. Go on now, little one, into the air, and thank you. Helen leaves behind her husband Damian Lewis as well as their 2 children. And finally, at number 1, Dustin Diamond. Fans of the hit 90s show Saved by the Bell were devastated to hear of the passing of actor Dustin Diamond earlier this year. Dustin, who played Samuel Powers, aka Screech on the show, captivated audiences during its run between 1989 and 1992. Dustin, who was only 44 at the time of his passing, lost his battle with stage 4 lung cancer on February 1st, 2021. Fans learned of Dustin's cancer diagnosis just 3 weeks before the actor passed away. After his passing, Dustin's representative issued a statement to fans as well as to the press where they said, quote, he was diagnosed with this brutal, relentless form of malignant cancer only 3 weeks ago. In that time, it managed to spread rapidly through his system. The only mercy it exhibited was its sharp and swift execution. Dustin did not suffer. He did not have to lie submerged in pain. For that, we are grateful.
end quote. The source also said that Justin passed with his girlfriend by his side and was surrounded by love, which is really all you can ask for at a moment like this. At number 10, Don Rickles. Back in 2017, Toy Story fans were devastated to hear of the passing of Don Rickles. Don had a long and successful career as a comedian, but what most people remember him for is his role as the voice of Mr. Potato Head in the Toy Story films. Don had been the voice of this beloved character since the very beginning and was part of 3 Toy Story films before his passing at the age of 90. Don was set to take up his famous role in the newest installment of the Toy Story series, but sadly he passed away before the script was finished. When the studio was ready to begin production on Toy Story 4, they actually got in contact with Don's family and asked them if they would be willing to give them permission to use old recordings of Don's voice to bring Mr. Potato Head to life one last time, to which they agreed, saying, quote, "He always said, keep my name alive, let them know who I am, so he would be thrilled by all of this, definitely." End quote. Toy Story 4 came out with Don's voice playing his beloved character and helping keep his legacy alive. At number 9, Marion Ramsey. Actress Marion Ramsey, best known for her time on Police Academy, passed away on January 7, 2021 at the age of 73. According to sources, the actress passed away in her home in Los Angeles. Her agency rep, Roger Paul Inc., released a statement informing the public of her passing, saying, quote, "Marion carried with her a kindness and permeating light that instantly filled up a room upon her arrival. The dimming of her light is already felt by those who knew her well. We will miss her and always love her." End quote. Marion was best known for her performance as Officer Laverne Hooks in the Police Academy film franchise, beginning with the 1984 original, and then several role reprisals over the years. She was also known as a longtime advocate for HIV and AIDS awareness, and earned a lot of respect and praise for her work in fundraising for the cause. Outside of the film industry and advocacy, she was also known for her Broadway performances in shows like Hello Dolly and Little Shop of Horrors. Before I carry on talking about the rest of these stars, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to maybe leave a comment down below sending some love to the families of the celebrities that we've lost recently. Loss is never an easy thing, so let's send some positive energy to those affected by their loved ones passing. At number 8, Diana Rigg. Though this actress took on some pretty big and legendary roles, some of her best works came from her time playing Emma Peel in the TV series The Avengers, as well as the wife of James Bond and Olenna Tyrell in Game of Thrones. Diana had a very successful career on screen, but also on stage, as she found success in the life of theater, making her Broadway debut back in 1971. Her life is filled with dozens of theater productions, television series, and films, but her career sadly came to an end upon her passing on September 10, 2020. The actress passed away at the age of 82. Her daughter had reported that the actress passed away from lung cancer after being diagnosed with the disease back in March last year. At number 7, Jason Davis. If you're familiar with the Disney Channel show Recess from the late 90s/early 2000s, then you obviously remember the character Mikey Blumberg. His character was basically the nicest kid on the playground, a lovable guy with a knack for poetry and a good heart, always being the first to forgive people. Mikey's character was voiced by actor Jason Davis for the duration of the show series as well as its spin-off movies, but sadly Jason passed away last year on February 16, 2020 at the age of 35. Other than appearing on the Disney Channel, Jason also had roles in Rush Hour, Beverly Hills Ninja, and Mafia. During his life, Jason did a lot of good for his community as he founded and dedicated himself to an organization called Cure Addiction Now. His organization's goal is to help fund research for those suffering from substance abuse and addiction, and he dedicated the year and a half before his passing to growing this organization. He brought many characters to life and dedicated his time towards helping others, achieving so many wonderful things in his life. At number 6, Deezer D. Actor Deezer D, who was best known for his role on the drama series ER, passed away this year on January 7th, 2021 at the age of just 55 years old. Deezer was a fan favorite among viewers of ER, and his role as Nurse Malik McGrath on the medical series was beloved by many, and as you would expect, fans were shocked and devastated to hear about his unexpected passing. His brother Emery Thompson announced his passing on social media, posting the announcement of his brother's passing to his Instagram account. Reports say that Deezer was found unresponsive in his home in Los Angeles on the morning of January 7th. An official cause of death was not released to the public, however, based on information provided by one of Deezer's other brothers, it is believed that the actor passed away from a heart attack. At number 5, John Riley. John Riley had a long, successful career, but sadly the beloved actor passed away at the age of 84 on January 10th, 2021. John began his rise to fame after playing roles on General Hospital and Beverly Hills 90210. John was originally from Chicago, and he started his acting career in the 1960s with guest starring roles on Death Valley Days, Apple's Way, and Gunsmoke. In 1984, his career moved forward and he starred in 6 episodes of Dallas, and from there he went on to portray Sean Donnelly on General Hospital for 11 years. The announcement of the actor's death came from his daughter Caitlin Riley, who announced the death of her father's passing on Instagram. However, the cause of death was not disclosed. Caitlin's tribute to her father was emotional and sweet, as she revealed that she made it in time to hold him and say goodbye, so we know that unfortunately the actor's passing was expected, which makes that a little more painful. At number 4, Cameron Boyce. One of the biggest and most tragic deaths that Disney has faced recently was the passing of actor Cameron Boyce back in 2019. Cameron passed away on July 6, 2019 at the age of only 20 years old. His death came shortly before the premiere of his film Descendants 3, where he played Carlos, the son of Disney villain Cruella de Vil. Before this film, Cameron starred in other hit Disney productions like Jessie and had guest roles on Good Luck Charlie and Shake It Up as well. Cameron was a Disney fan favorite, but he was much more than that outside of the world of film and television. Cameron also loved to help people and was also a philanthropist. In 2017, Cameron helped raise over $27,000 for the Thirst Project. He aided in efforts to end homelessness. He worked closely with an organization that helps raise awareness and fight against assault on college campuses. He worked with an organization to help kids with sickle cell disease, and his final humanitarian effort was to partner with an organization to fight against gun violence. Because helping others was something that Cameron loved, his family set up an organization in his name after his passing to, quote, provide young people artistic and creative outlets as alternatives to violence and negativity, and provide resources to make a positive change in the world. Cameron did a lot of good in his life and continues to be someone for people to look up to. At number 3, Charlie Robinson. On July 11, 2021, actor Charlie Robinson passed away at the age of 75. Charlie had a wonderful and long career spanning over 50 years. Over that half century of work, Charlie made a name for himself, mostly thanks to his role as Mac on Night Court, which he is best known for. Sadly though, Charlie suffered from some serious health issues towards the end of his life. The actor had been diagnosed with metastatic adenocarcinoma, a type of aggressive cancer, and as a result of this and septic shock, the actor passed away from cardiac arrest and organ failure. He brought so much entertainment to so many people over the span of his career, and he and his talent will certainly not be forgotten. At number 2, Stan Lee. I'm sure you all know who the legendary Stan Lee was. He was a comic book writer, editor, actor, and producer, known for his creation and involvement in so many iconic Marvel characters. He was always a storyteller, as he enjoyed writing since he was a kid. He credited the books and movies from his childhood for his great success later in life. In 1939, Lee began working for a comic book publisher, which eventually evolved into the coveted Marvel Comics by the 1960s. What made Stan's character so unique is how his comic book heroes had more realistic and flawed qualities in comparison to rival DC Comics. Their success skyrocketed, and the Marvel empire grew into what we know it as today. Other than creating these characters, Lee also starred alongside them for many years, as he held cameos in many of the Marvel movie adaptations. For fans of the MCU, Stan's appearance was one Easter egg that we all looked forward to finding. Stan Lee lived an incredibly long and successful life until his death on November 12, 2018 at the age of 95. And at number 1, Michael K. Williams. Actor Michael K. Williams, best known for his role on The Wire, passed away on September 6, 2021 at the age of 54 after being found dead in his penthouse in Brooklyn, New York. According to sources, it is believed that Michael died of a suspected overdose. Michael became a well-known and beloved actor with the success of his time on The Wire, as well as his role on HBO's Boardwalk Empire. His most recent project, Lovecraft Country, brought him even more success, as he was nominated for an Emmy Award for his work in that production as well. Upon the announcement of his death, Michael's rep issued a statement which read, quote, "It is with deep sorrow that the family announces the passing of Emmy-nominated actor Michael Kenneth Williams. They ask for your privacy while grieving this unsurmountable loss. Michael was certainly taken far too soon." At number 10, Sebastian Athey. No matter where you are in the world, Disney makes an impact. Latin American Disney Channel actor Sebastian Athey was a star in a completely different part of the world than my own, and yet we all feel the sadness that came after his sudden passing last summer. Known for his role as soccer player Lorenzo Guerra on the Argentinian Disney show Once, Sebastian was well loved and a talented guy. Other than being a famed actor, he was also into the music scene. He was a singer releasing music as recently as 2019. He released his most recent song Freaking Out in July of 2019, and before that he released a song through Disney Channel called Play with the Heart. But before he got his big break on the Disney Channel, he got his start on a popular telenovela called La Rosa de Guadalupe, having appeared on 2 episodes between 2014 and 2015 as 2 different characters. He lived a good life, finding a lot of success until his tragic passing on July 4th, 2020, after suffering from a heart attack at the age of 24. He will be dearly missed. At number 9, Don Rickles. Toy Story fans were devastated to hear of the passing of Don Rickles back in 2017. Don had a long and successful career as a comedian, but I think what most people remember him for is his role as the voice of Mr. Potato Head in the Toy Story films. He had voiced the character since the very beginning and was part of 3 Toy Story films before his passing at the age of 90. Don was set to take up his famous role in the newest installment of the Toy Story series, but sadly he passed away before the script was finished. When the studio was ready to begin production on Toy Story 4, they actually asked Don's family if they would be willing to give them permission to use old recordings of Don's voice to bring Mr. Potato Head to life one last time, to which they agreed, saying, quote, He always said, keep my name alive, let them know who I am, so he would be thrilled by all of this, definitely, end quote. Toy Story 4 came out with Don's voice playing his beloved character and helping to keep his legacy alive. I don't know about you guys, but there's no one else that I could see playing this part, so I'm glad they were able to do this. Thanks for being part of our childhoods, Don. Now before I carry on with the video, please consider leaving a like to help out the channel, and also check out my channel Viper Girl for some gaming content as well. At number 8, Nikita Pearl-Waligwa. Actress Nikita Pearl-Waligwa, known for her role as Gloria in the Disney movie Queen of Katwe, sadly passed away in February 2020 at the age of 15. Nikita had been on a long journey battling a brain tumor from 2016 and again in 2019 after another tumor was discovered. Queen of Katwe's director Mira Nar actually helped to organize funds for Nikita's treatment during filming, showing how much the cast and crew cared for her. She played a role in a powerful film with powerful women, and she will always be remembered for that. She fought bravely through it all, and that will be something people remember. At number 7, Stan Lee. Stan Lee was a comic book writer, editor, actor, and producer known for his creation and involvement in many iconic Marvel characters. He was always a storyteller, as he enjoyed writing since he was a kid. He credited the books and movies from his childhood for his great success later in life. In 1939, Lee began working for a comic book publisher, which eventually evolved into the coveted Marvel Comics by the 1960s. What made Stan's character so unique was how his comic book heroes had more realistic and flawed qualities in comparison to rival DC Comics. Their success skyrocketed, and the Marvel empire grew into what we know it as today. Other than creating these characters, Lee also starred alongside them for many years, as he held cameos in many of the Disney movies. And since Disney owns Marvel, this makes Stan an honorary Disney star. For fans of the MCU, Stan's appearance was one Easter egg that we all looked forward to finding. Stan Lee lived an incredibly long and successful life until his death on November 12, 2018 at the age of 95. At number 6, Jason Davis. If you're familiar with the Disney Channel show Recess from the late 90s/early 2000s, then you would obviously remember the character Mikey Blumberg. He was basically the nicest kid on the playground, a lovable guy with a knack for poetry and a good heart, always being the first to forgive people. Mikey was voiced by actor Jason Davis for the duration of the show's series, as well as its spin-off movies. Sadly, Jason passed away February 16, 2020 at the age of 35 due to effects caused by fentanyl usage. Other than appearing on the Disney Channel, Jason also had roles in Rush Hour, Beverly Hills Ninja, and Mafia. During his life, Jason founded and dedicated himself to an organization called Cure Addiction Now. His organization's goal was to help fund research for those suffering from substance abuse and addiction, and he dedicated the year and a half before his passing to growing this organization. Before his passing, he was also working on a new show called The Two Jasons. He brought many characters to life and dedicated his time towards helping others, achieving so many wonderful things in his life. At number 5, Carrie Fisher. The world was shocked by actress Carrie Fisher's tragic passing. Having been beloved by so many, her passing affected so many people. Carrie passed away on December 27, 2016 at the age of 60 after having suffered a heart attack. Carrie was no doubt known for her role in the Star Wars franchise, playing Princess Leia. Since Disney bought Star Wars, this technically made her a Disney princess, which just made her that much cooler. Carrie began her Star Wars career at the age of 19, and it stuck with her for her whole life. When approached about the idea of portraying Leia again in 2015's The Force Awakens, she said, quote, "I knew that something enormous was likely going to impact my life in this film, and that there was absolutely no way of understanding what that was or likely be. This was her defining role, and there was no way that it would let her go." She brought Leia's bad character to life even after her passing, as the studio was able to bring her back to life on the big screen one last time in The Rise of Skywalker, which was released 3 years after her death. Though she had her struggles in life, which she opened up about, she was still an icon and is still dearly missed. At number 4, Chadwick Boseman. Marvel's Black Panther movie is one of their most successful films. I remember when it was first released and there were so many people going to see it, and so many people from the Black community saying how they felt empowered and represented by this film. It was a big deal and made Black Panther a fan favorite. Chadwick Boseman, the actor who brought King T'Challa to life, also became an icon, so when the news of his passing broke last year, fans were devastated. Chadwick passed away on August 28, 2020 at the age of 43 after a long and difficult battle with stage 4 colon cancer. Other than being cast in the MCU, Chadwick also played some big roles such as Jackie Robinson in 42, as well as James Brown in Get On Up. His family released a statement announcing his passing, saying how hard he fought until the end. Fans found out that Chadwick was receiving treatment for his condition at the same time that he was filming Black Panther, showing us how strong he really was. Chadwick really was a king on and off screen, and it's hard to imagine the MCU without him. At number 3, Robin Williams. Actor and comedian Robin Williams put a smile on everyone's face. He had the ability to captivate an audience so easily and always left an impression on every single one of his fans. Though he had a long and successful career, he also spent some time working with Disney, portraying a number of characters. He worked on projects like Popeye, Good Morning Vietnam, Good Will Hunting, Back to Neverland, Flubber, and more. His most notable Disney production, however, was Aladdin. Robin voiced the genie, bringing that magical blue goof to life in the most entertaining way. The genie was always meant to be played by Robin, as the character was even written with him in mind, and he brought the character to life in both the original Aladdin and the sequel, Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Sadly, Robin passed away on August 11, 2014 after he took his own life. Though it was originally reported that he suffered from depression, his wife later clarified that he was really suffering from a condition called DLB, saying that Robin's depression was one of many symptoms of DLB. Robin played a big part in many of our childhoods, as he starred in so many films that we watched as kids, and we thank him for that. At number 2, Lee Thompson Young. Though you may not recognize the name, you will surely recognize his face. If you grew up watching the Disney Channel in the late 90s and 2000s, then you might be familiar with Lee Thompson Young. Lee got his breakout role in the Disney Channel series The Famous Jet Jackson, where he played the famous action TV star Jet Jackson. This role was the first major role he got, and it set him up to have a successful career with Disney. After his time filming Jet Jackson, as well as its spin-off films, Lee then went on to star in the hit Disney Channel movie Johnny Tsunami and the subsequent film Johnny Capahala Back on Board. After leaving Disney, he went on to star in different shows like Smallville, where he played Victor Stone, aka Cyborg, and in Rizzoli and Isles, where he played Detective Barry Frost. His role on Rizzoli and Isles was the last role that Lee had before his passing in 2013, where he took his own life. Lee had reportedly been struggling with his mental health, and so when he passed away, his family set up a foundation in his name called the Lee Thompson Young Foundation, with the goal of removing the stigma around mental illness. If you're ever struggling with your mental health, please reach out to someone or call a local crisis hotline. You are not alone. And finally, number 1, Cameron Boyce. One of the biggest and most tragic deaths that Disney has faced recently was the passing of actor Cameron Boyce back in 2019. Cameron passed away on July 6, 2019 at the age of 20. His passing came just shortly before the premiere of his film Descendants 3, where he played Carlos, the son of Disney villain Cruella de Vil. Before this film, Cameron had starred in other Disney productions like Jessie and had guest roles on Good Luck Charlie and Shake It Off. Cameron was a Disney fan favorite, but he was so much more than that outside of the world of film and television. He was also a philanthropist. In 2017, Cameron helped raise over $27,000 for the Thirst Project. He aided in an effort to end homelessness. He worked closely with an organization that helped raise awareness and fight against on college campuses. He worked with an organization to help kids with sickle cell disease, and his final humanitarian effort was to partner with an organization to help fight against gun violence. Because helping others was something that Cameron loved, his family set up an organization in his name after his passing to, quote, provide young people artistic and creative outlets as alternatives to violence and negativity, and provide resources to make a positive change in the world. Cameron did a lot of good in his life and continues to be someone for people to look up to.